Here. Hello and welcome to another session of Hearts of Wulin Numberless Secrets for this particular mystery, Legend of Bad Valley. We've had some wonky weeks. December has been wild. So we missed a couple of sessions. We are picking up after a break here. Our characters are currently in a set of chambers of ruins below Bad Valley. They entered into here from a entryway clearly hidden by Wheelwright Tantai, the master of Bad Valley. And certainly the sense that they had was that this is like a long thing, an inherited piece of knowledge and passed down and all of that. The last few clues that they got, and the last time we saw our characters on screen, we also saw 11th Hound arrive, and we also got to see a Brit of Songbird Jun, and First Orchid, and Duan Su, who is currently in a disguise as a historian, but then disguised as someone else up there. So they are up above that. But where we left off last time, the clues that we've gotten was we learned about Tantai's absent cousin. We learned that Wheelwright Tantai's predecessor was buried with a second body. We saw sketch maps of the Black Quarry, which is a prison, and notes on a jailbreak that took place there. And in this sort of chamber below, that seems to be Wheelwright's room, the group found multiple of their outfits, and they also saw an ongoing game of chess, kind of at a stalemate. But the most relevant and important sort of non-clue thing was the discovery of the body of Wheelwright Tantai, question mark. Certainly looks like Wheelwright Tantai, recently deceased, and found that tip of the sword that Chow Lin had spotted had gone missing, embedded in the body. The supposition is that whoever did this clearly expected that the body would not be found for a long time, and by that time, the placement of that tip in the wound would look natural. You were able to determine that this is an older complex, that it goes in a couple of different directions, some of it deeper. And that's where we kind of left off last time. So I think when we come back, the scene has shifted a little bit. The body has probably been moved over onto a table, and the sheet has been put over it. And there's probably come with some discussion about, do we go and tell Wasp? Do we press on? What do we want to do here? I think that's kind of where we're at this point. So, Janai, let me start with you. What is your take on this? What are you doing? What do we see you in this scene?
Um, well, I suppose that in some ways her sword is the one that is meant for doing these sorts of investigations. Sort of that dirty work, if that makes any sense, of like checking through things, determining the time of death, that sort of stuff. So I suppose that would be what she would have just completed, if that makes any sense. With sort of the basic details then available to others. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. So are you happy with the information you have, or would you like to make a study roll for some additional questions on that?
Sure. I will make a study roll.
Okay.
So
I
let's see
love
here.
having you make a study roll right out of the gate
I know,
because
because we know that that is often particularly disaster prone for me. Yes. So let's see here. The trick to this game is, however, not closing your roller. So let's see if I can get there. Okay.
Well, that's how you keep it fresh.
Yeah.
You don't want it to get stale and fill up with too much bad luck.
You know, thank you. I'm hoping that that will work. But now I don't know if spoken aloud that will cease to function. Okay.
Oh no!
So I suppose this is me with my sword. This is probably Blue Mountain Scholar, so this is probably Earth, right?
Okay.
So 2d6, I'm adding 3, so that's a 10.
That is a 10. So with a study that is 2 hold.
Okay. It's enough for a clue, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll take the clue to add to this.
I think that one of the things that you will notice when you are examining the body and you're looking at it, uh, trying to judge things here, is that the shoe is odd, and you take a look at the shoe that they have on and the feet and the leg, and you realize that this person has a wound to their leg that probably impacted their motion, but they have clearly adjusted their shoe and worked hard to, like, the way the muscles have developed. It tells you this is a person who had a leg injury, had a limp, and then spent a great deal of time working to conceal that limp. Does that seem like a fair?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we're going to say Tontai the interior. So
And is this just like another skeleton? Is that what this
No,
one
no,
is?
this body was killed 24 hours ago.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a fresh body.
so this Tontai, no one has mentioned that they had a wound to their leg or anything like that. And essentially, and just clearly he's tried to hide it. So, and I'm going to say this Tontai because it definitely sounds like there were maybe 2 at least, maybe 6, who knows? Okay. So
Bao Shi, what are you doing?
Well, I think probably looking around the space is a good idea to study and see if I can find anything there that implies who the killer may be or anything to see the true identity of this dead person.
Okay, then let's have you make a study roll.
Let's have me make a study roll. All right. Let's see. This is I think this is water awareness, wisdom of a space. Let's go. That seems fine. That seems perfect. All right. Rolling. That's a 5, 6, 7.
So that's hold. That's a hold.
Yeah. Let's I'm going to do one of my shadows.
Yeah,
I
you
got them all
cleared it.
back.
Yeah.
And I just will get one. Just one here. I'm gonna do my 2E, I believe. There. But yeah, that'll give me a 10 plus. Should
Okay.
I do my
Yeah,
shadow right
so your
now?
shadow first, and then I'll tell you what you can ask your questions or get the clue.
All right. I think we see as I'm beginning to look around the room, uh I turn my eyes kind of to that chess set, and we get that sort of falling into time, into a pastime, as we see a younger Bao playing chess much younger, probably in his, early teens. And we see the figure of Bao's father, who we've only seen very spread, but has not popped up in much of Bao's memories. His family rarely shows up in what we've seen of him. Um, and we see Bao trying carefully to concentrate and making a move that clearly was a mistake, as his father moves a piece, taking Bao's queen, and sort of, you aren't concentrating. Do you realize that you are the last of our line? I have no other children. My brother has no children. You are all we have to depend upon. And this is such a sorry showing. Your mother and I have decided that there is nothing further that you can learn here, lazing about with your books. We have contacted an old friend, the Blue Mountain Scholar. Perhaps he could make something of you, because your mother and I, well, clearly we have not.
Oof.
And we kind of pull back out as Val is looking at the chessboard. I would have been checking for.
And do you have questions you want to ask, declarations you want to make, or you want a clue?
Let's see. With 10, I get 2. Is that right?
That's correct.
It's always clue, baby.
Okay. I think as you're walking around here and you're looking, you've brought your own, essentially torches, source of light. And you go and you look, there are those kind of oil bowls with the wicks in them. And you're looking at those, they are around the room. And you will look at the one that clearly wasn't lit, and you notice like an odd sheen atop the oil here, like something is separated. And I think that we see you go from there back to one of the other oil things. And you're checking, and get the little silver needles to kind of check. And you will realize that someone clearly put some sort of substance in here in these oil lamps, just something that then when they were lit, you're guessing emitted some kind of toxin or soporific or something like that would have filled a chamber like this.
Fascinating. I will take the one that hasn't, that clearly that had never been lit, and I will tip that oil into a container that I have. As I mentioned, it would appear that these lamps, the fuel was tampered with. Perhaps a poison, perhaps a narcotic of some sort.
Nasty.
And you can put that tampered with oil as a
Ooh.
clue. Chow Lin, what are you up to?
I think I want to go through Wheelwright Tentai's belongings.
Okay. lots of the same clothes. You'll notice some slightly different sizing on the different clothing. I think we kind of mentioned that. That sort of sometimes confirms the two people thing, at least. Do you want to make a study roll for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see, what is this? I think it's water. 11.
11. So that is two hold.
Yeah.
Would you also like a clue? Or do you have
Sure.
questions? Okay. You will note concealed in several of those outfits, and you're actually pretty sure that they're like several different sizings, kind of odd. But you'll find concealed in several of those, hidden away, are like very thin hairpins. They're odd. They're not in a place where you would go, okay, well, that's clearly a weapon or a lockpick or something like that. And almost all the clothing have these. And it takes you a second, and you will realize that you saw some more of these in the room. And you go over to a room where there's a table, and there's one of those like mannequin heads with the like acupuncture points and things like that.
Okay.
And you'll see there's some needles there. And I think that you will recognize what this is. This is a unorthodox and dangerous technique that people are said to be able to mark and tighten and strike their own nerve points to actually change the appearance of their face.
Cool.
And they can do that and kind of lock it in, hide those pins in the back of their hair, and actually strikingly change their appearance. And that seems to be what these pins are, and they clearly had them concealed throughout their gear.
Okay, so who knows how many wheelwright tentais there are?
Yes.
And how long and how many of them are dead? Okay.
Songda, this place, the history that's here. I'm sorry, Muscles. The history that's here, the lore, this place is just the surface of something ancient and wondrous.
The long, deep, rich history of bodyguards and bodyguarding. That's what I'm all about.
What are you doing?
So it is looking increasingly like whoever this is died in here.
Yes.
So presumably they came here from somewhere else. So I would like to try and follow their easily followable footprints and trail back to where they came into these secret underground ways down here.
I think that's a perfect study thing.
It's not my best stat, but I did just take it up.
Okay.
So I'm going to roll with Earth. We're underground. It's caution and focus. I'm trying to see all the little disturbances of dust before I step on them and mess them up myself or whatever.
You have incredible lightness. You would never leave a footprint.
It's so true.
It is true. Like you can't like we know this.
That's a 9.
So I take it that your question is, where does this exit out to? The path that this person came down from?
Yes.
Do you want to tell me, or do you want me to tell you?
I want you to tell me.
All right. I think that you will find yourself, and it is uh it takes you a bit, and you kind of lift up this panel. You're in a what appears to be a storeroom. Um, you can look around and kind of peek out from here, and you realize that you're in a storehouse behind the doctor's office.
Oh.
You can see the little courtyard that he has where he's growing herbs and things like that. Uh, does that seem like a fair answer to your question?
Yes. Yes. I will go back down and report back to Master Baoshi. I followed the path back. It looks like they came down from Dr. Neon's office. That's Doctor, right?
Yeah.
You're muted. So silent and contemplative.
I was contemplating for a moment. So many things seem to be circling around this doctor. Uh, Xiao, how well do you know him? I know he is an old acquaintance.
That's a good question. How well do I know him?
I think the only thing that we've established is that he is a doctor that you met on the road that was, doing good and charitable works. You ran into him a couple of times. You know that at least one occasion when you were kind of accused of some nefariousness, he stepped up to speak for you. I think that's what you know of him. Beyond now, what you know about him being the child of the late the child of Ru Huang and Ru Gang, and having been dragged back here. So he says.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll relay that.
Hmm.
Being able to dose lanterns so that their burning flames give off the right amount of toxin, though, that takes some specific knowledge.
It's impressive, and as you should I have said, he had the most access and capability of dealing with this sword tip that seems to be recurringly killing people. Or at least in dead people. Perhaps we should think of him more.
People are in and out of his office frequently. He said he has there's a lot of fights here. So that's another possibility that we should check up on, who has been injured recently.
There are also three other people in his household.
Yes, there's Promist and the kid and
Jin.
yes.
Ji Ming Lang.
Jin.
Yes, that's him. We know that Chi Ming Long and Wheelwright Tan Tai have some bad blood. And that Wheelwright Tan Tai had some control over him, right?
Yeah.
That was the story, yes.
Seems, I don't know how if he would have the skills to do any of this, but he seems to have more reason to kill Wheelwright Time Tie than anyone in this place.
Yes, and I believe we were told that he was being forced to teach certain techniques. It's entirely possible that that teaching would have gone on in this more secluded and secret area. That would give him knowledge of it, but that is just a supposition. Should you have been to visit him? Is he not an invalid?
Certainly his child has that impression that he is. And the poison is described as something that the doctor cannot heal, a branching and complicated poisoning. It is a particularly severe disguise he's taken on. If that is what he has done, I would have to applaud that devotion to a uncomfortable and powerless persona. Not out of the possibilities, but few. But yeah, I mean, it is something that we can look into, is maybe more about that.
Or he would
If
need
he's
help
been
from
gathering
someone
the
else.
secrets, can we find those here? Are they written down? What are the records of?
That is a very good question.
Yes, we probably should pursue further here. And
I think you've exhausted the materials that are present in this room, he
in
said.
this room.
Yeah.
GM's fiat on this
Yeah.
location.
Yeah, I mean, we have to move on. I understand
Right.
that, so.
Sure.
But
Okay.
very good, Somta. Finding another entry does prove that hell, this whole area may be riddled with entries. But this was very illuminating. Thank you. Shall we press on then?
Mhm.
So you will begin to make your way further. I think that you will discover at least a couple of other very well hidden entryways up above, clearly older entryways. The person from here can exit into the sort of the public crafts and work area, not entirely far away from where the body of Chow was found. Can exit over near the houses that are there. Essentially, mentioned there's the island and then the surrounding area. There are a couple of the surrounding areas, and there are a couple to the spaces on the island. You're a little surprised that as you look around to try and find it, you expected there to be a passageway that would lead out towards those hot springs and go that distance and out to there, but there doesn't seem to be one. It doesn't seem like you can get there below ground from here.
That is very interesting.
Below
So
ground, we would be under the river though, wouldn't we?
Well, you have to go under the river to from here. You're on the island, essentially below the island. Then you have to go under the river
Exactly.
to go out to there. Would be a ways out because it is quite a distance away.
Mhm.
it does mean that whoever committed whatever activity there, whether the murder occurred there or simply a body being dropped off, had to do it above ground. If we're not simply missing a passage, of course, but that we have been looking quite studiously. And that means that a body would have had to have been moved above ground, or someone would have had to be lying in wait as Will Wyatt entered the valley again.
Right. Or was leaving. We don't know how long they were
Or was
gone,
leaving.
but
The first one or the second one?
The first one, the skeletal one.
Which may or may not have been
Bye.
wheelwright, but we think it was the first one to have the piece of the blade.
Correct. So
Starting to
still,
wonder if there ever was a wheelwright.
yes, that is the one I find somewhere in me that seems the least likely to be a wheelwright. Simply, it makes so little sense.
Well, then in that case, we need to understand the timeline. And sort of goes, we know that there was a point at which Wasp was being groomed to become the next, like take up that role at some point, and then after their sibling passed away, that stopped. Seems like a chance when whatever wheelwright was in their presence may have changed. There are some other things. When did the fight with Mingling take place? Like in that time frame? Was that around the same time? And essentially go, I mean, did they lose one wheelwright and gain another one? Did they, that kind of thing? Were there three of them? The blacksmith mentioned that like only spoke of one, but if they looked a lot alike, may not have understood, like they were already twins or brothers or cousins that looked a lot alike.
Especially if they were using
one
beans
of them
to
got
change
into
their
trouble with
appearance.
substances, but then they settled down. So there could be one, that could have been two different
Indeed.
contacts.
Where did we hear about Uncle Brother whatever again?
Wasp
was-
mentioned the cousin that
Yeah, Wasp
Yeah.
mentioned that they had met an uncle at one point that their parent had
cousin.
tried to keep away from them.
Tantai's absent cousin had a strong family resemblance, a possible agent of Tantai. And that may be
Gotcha.
a separate person too, but has that thing of that there's it's a family that has strong family resemblances. So I don't know. There's at least two people who we think were going around.
So in this theory, Tantai 1 is probably the real wheelwright, and Tantai 2 has been running around as them for some unknown amount of time before
That would make
presumably
sense.
being found out, or maybe killed for wheelwright sins, which would be ironic.
yeah.
And
You
what
will.
about these
Yeah.
things about the escape from the prison?
Yes.
You will find yourselves come down into, like, clearly you have the sense, and I think this is very much Song Da's historian sense, that you've come down to some of the inner lower chambers, hard to get to. You've seen a couple of traps above that you've gone past, but you will come down into this room and you will see it is a large chamber. Across is an archway, metal rimmed, and there's actually a metal door that you will see almost looks like is made up of circular discs, like layered on top of one another there. The door itself is circles and discs. And there are two enormous metal wings that are kind of closed across it, just not blocking, but kind of like they're holding it like this. And you can see there's kind of a animal sort of phoenix figures on either side, and those wings are to that. And as you come in, you will see that you will see that that there seems to be maybe pieces and parts of some kind of mechanism there that are missing. But around the chamber, you will see that there are statues that you kind of don't recognize immediately. They are human, but very stylized. And when you step into this chamber and kind of looking at that door, you'll also realize that your torches kind of dim a little, and the darkness of the ceiling here that kind of catches that. It's like stars, like actually like silver or gold stars, and maybe even constellations. It's hard to tell. Like it's clearly brilliantly done. And that's when the door slams down behind you, and the water starts pouring in.
Oh dear.
Oh,
So this is a puzzle. This is a trap that we kind of do this in the Tomb Raidery way of each of you gets a chance to tell us A, what you're doing and how you're like what you're doing towards the solution, or B, what you're doing to try and keep you all from drowning in this. Janai, is it okay if I start with you on this sort of thing?
Yes, it is okay.
And if you want, we can we'll do a once around where you can ask questions or establish a detail. We'll do that before you kind of say what you're doing. So do you have a question, or is there a detail you want to establish here before we'll do this in this first round?
I think the detail that I establish is that just as the water pours in, we see a bunch of notes. Clearly wheelwright. The wheels he was working on were these circles and these discs.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So he had clearly come down here, had looked at them, maybe didn't know how to get in, or maybe was leaving notes on how to get in for someone else. I like that. Baushi, what's another thing that you want to ask a question about or establish a detail of before we kind of go around to like solving this problem?
I think as I'm looking up at the stars above, I begin to pick out these constellations. It's not as though it is the full sky. It is particular constellations that are significant of the heroes, gods of legend. So they are individuals. They are people, for lack of a different word.
I like it. I like it. Chow Lin, what is a question you want to ask or a detail you want to establish?
I was going to say exactly the same thing Tyler was, well, a little less specific, but yeah, same thing. So what else? I think there are more stars like on the walls and the door. They're just fainter.
Okay.
So like you don't notice them right away.
When you get close with the torch, that's when they kind of
Yeah.
start to be picked up. They're clearly a little more concealed.
Mhm.
I like it. And Song Da, what is another detail or a question you want to ask?
where exactly is this water rushing in from?
There are two great sluices on the ceiling. They're about a foot wide, like a square at the top. It does look like there are floor drains to drain this away after you're drowned.
That's
But
convenience.
it is pouring in. I wouldn't say it's rapid, like it's not like, oh my God, we're about to die. But it is filling up the room. So, Janai,
Yes.
what is it that you are doing to contribute to solving this problem? Which is the problem is figuring like getting past the door, or stopping this thing, or figuring out the trick here. What is it that you are doing towards that?
I think that I will catch up those notes and pull myself up on a table so that I'm up high and think I will take a quick look through to see if I can find anything that gives me a hint about what other
So you're
pattern.
calling out to the others, the symbols
out.
and things you see
Exactly.
on the circles, okay?
Exactly, to give them clues. So I'm
And-
essentially want to do a setup to other people, I think is what that is. If that
Okay,
makes any
okay.
sense.
Let me have you roll just a general roll here.
A general roll.
Yeah, this
Do
is
not
it.
even-
We know this the 10 plus 7 to 9,
Okay,
6
but
minus. What do you want to roll that with?
well, there's a lot of water here, so I assume water. What is my
Okay.
water score? I don't know.
It's
Let's
good.
see here. Yeah,
I think
is
your
it?
water is 2, if I recall
Okay.
correctly.
All right. So how about that? Now I just got to find. Did I? No, I didn't. Okay, good. Phew. Okay, I'm rolling 2d6. I'm going to add 2. A 9.
It's a 9. Okay, so we're right there in that middle. Baoshi, what are you doing?
I think that I think that I'm looking at these statues and perhaps thinking that they are in some way connected to the constellations, and I'm
Okay.
picking out ones that, in their stylized version, reflect the constellations, and see and pushing them to
moving them
orient
around
them.
to
Yeah.
the positions underneath the constellations. And I like that. And I think that there'll be a moment when you get like the last one lined up that we'll see those wings open up.
Ooh.
Door is still shut, but those wings will open up. Chow Lin, what are you doing? Oh, Baoshi, I'm going to have you roll actually too. I'm
Oh,
gonna
all
build
righty.
up
All right. I can't argue with
water.
water. I think that Sherry has it right on. I got a 10.
Got a 10. So yeah, you do that quickly, with speed, with haste. You recognize the constellations. You know, this is something that you know. It's a very academic kind of thing. You put that in place. Chow Lin, what are you doing?
I'm gonna examine the doors and see if I can find figure out what the lock is, but where that might be connected in the room,
Okay.
to what.
Yeah. So I think there is a thing where you're trying to figure out, like, it becomes clear to you as you're looking at that some of these wheels and discs and things on here are clearly fakes, are clearly here to be traps. And I
Mhm.
think that from what Janai is saying, you can mark out, like, okay, these are the ones that are actually the ones that he's mentioning here. Songda, what are you doing? Oh, I'm sorry. Chow Lin, roll. Make a roll for me.
I was gonna say, what?
3.
Okay. And Songda, what are you doing?
So, if there's these drains that trigger to drain the water out, then there's probably some sensor up near the ceiling that's going to tell it when it's full, and I want to find that and try and trick it so that if even the water is pouring in, it'll be draining out at the same time and give us more time.
Absolutely. And this is your strength. Again, lightness is your skill. You are able to almost fly in this way. So let's go ahead and have you make a roll.
Um, I feel like everyone has been correct so far, and the only higher stat that I could argue for is fire, which seems vastly inappropriate in the situation. So water it is, just like all the cool kids. Ooh, that's a 10.
I think
Nice.
that the water is barely waist high before you get up there. Like, what do you have to do to trip the sensor when you like what is it that you have to do?
Uh, so I think the sensor itself is surprisingly simple, and all I have to do is pull out. I have extra bottles of ink on me, and I pull out a bottle of ink and pour it down this thing, and it fills up something that's floating just enough that it sets off whatever trigger says we're full now.
Perfect. And
Well
yeah,
done.
and then there'll be that thing where all of you will hear this grinding, and then the water level will begin to go down. And Shaolin, what is it that as you're working this to get this door open, how are you injured? Is it poison? Is it a slicing disc? Is it a projectile? What is it that hits you?
Um, I think as I'm like fiddling with all of these discs, I like try to slide my hand under one, which was kind of how I told, figured out another one wasn't connected to anything. So I'm not really paying attention, and something cuts me, and like I pull back, and there's like already this, oozing poison along.
Ooh.
Yeah. Mark a an element, and you
Sure.
realize that you have been poisoned. I can't remember if anybody has the poison skill.
No one is a full alchemist. So far as I know.
Yeah. I don't think anyone has the
If you die, I can try to bring you back.
the deadly venoms one. So yeah, you'll get getting kind of woozy, but we will see those discs pull back and open up, and you will see beyond is a chamber. And there are cobwebs in here and things. The set dresser has done a lot to make it clear this is an old place, I've maybe gone a little overboard. You will see that around the outside of here, there are these steel locked boxes, like stacked one on top of each other. They are around here in different places. You would guess there are a dozen and a half of these steel locked boxes. And the room kind of U-shaped towards the end. At the end of the room is a mummified figure in robes. They are wearing an outfit that's of green and yellow that you will recognize because you've had to study this, because this has been involved in a couple of your cases before, of the ancient Moists, those technicians and gadgeteers and things like that. And while next to them are some manuals, there's less dust on them. Clearly they were consulted. They have, it looks like, old, highly illegal Moist texts, like the kinds of things that would get you executed if you were found with there. And you will see that there is a tablet there, and it will say essentially Last of the Moists, the Lord of Tricksters.
We're not calling this one Wheelwright too, are we?
This corpse is hundreds of years old, you would guess.
Interesting. And it does look like Wheelwright has consulted them then?
Yeah. Looks like he has come in here before.
Okay.
Well, I'd better check the veracity of those texts by reading them thoroughly and committing them to memory and maybe copying them 3 or 4 times.
No.
So,
Can't hear you already reading.
Read as you will, I would not suggest copying these. But oh my. And I think we have this image of me, of course, kind of wet and bedraggled.
Yeah.
And then as I step into the room, we see me sort of shake off the bottom of my hem as I'm completely dry and looking wonderful.
Absolutely.
Um, well, this is very interesting. I'm not entirely sure how it helps with our murder, but it definitely shows how the people of Bad Valley have had advantages in some of their machinations. Shania, something like this is, I mean, this is a storehouse of death if the Empire were to hear of it.
And you're not even sure what's in those lockboxes yet.
Yeah. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
We've had a set of like sort of connected things. We know that we found one of the people that was about all of that stolen gold, but was there still gold that hadn't been found?
Oh, no, I think that particular
That was
thing
completely
is-
okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make
No, I
sure
think that
that
was a
there
fair
wasn't
question.
some
Yeah.
gold that was like, okay, this is where all the gold is. And she sort of stops and says, well, they are difficult mechanicians. I haven't seen like a great you say foundry or the workshops that you would need for these things typically, but we can look around. Perhaps they're down here below.
I'm guessing yes, so
I was just gonna say, we've seen them many places before, but no, I haven't seen anything that looks up to the level of most invention here.
well, just perhaps I will move over to one of the boxes.
Well, there
Is
was
it-
the water trap in the last room.
Is
wanna
it locked?
Yes. Do you want to attempt to open it?
I'll
Watch out for
look
poison
over.
blades.
I'll look over at First Orc and say, do you happen to have any suggestions on this lock, apprentice?
Oh, I forgot. Was she with you?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Okay.
she got hurt. I had to do some wrangling to
right.
avoid her getting
Yeah.
hurt by a
Yeah.
trap early on.
She has been quiet, looking around with like eager eyes at these things, and she'll say, I can tell you what to do. Let's
Right?
so it will be your role. I'll give you the fictional positioning for this. I think
right.
I'll have you roll with metal.
That makes sense. They are metal boxes. Oh, come on, roll well, baby. Oh, that's a 13.
Nice.
You will open up this box, and I think it takes a bit. Like it's some real work. You and Orchid are concentrating there. I think that Chowlin is getting a little lightheaded, by the way, at this point. As
should
well.
probably look at that.
Okay.
So
You will open it up, and you will realize that there is a fairly sophisticated mechanism on this. If you had opened this in the wrong way, you can see that there is a striking thing, and there is gunpowder packed in here. Not enough to hurt you or anything, but it would have destroyed the contents of this.
Interesting.
And you will see that there is a manual in there. A technique manual, and it has been wrapped with metal bands. You know, that way and that way, like a cross. Tell me, Baoshi, when you pick this up, what is the name of this vile, unorthodox technique manual?
The the traces on the steel sinew.
And you will have heard of this. This is an unorthodox, villainous order of forbidden techniques, essentially that could destroy the muscles of their opponents, shatter and disconnect them with their touches, and they were destroyed by other orders and killed off.
Someone has kept knowledge of a most hated and despised order. I wonder if this is a repository of other such eliminated heretic scholars.
I think the Moas mostly got a bad rap. Still flipping through those manuals.
I think the thing that you'll also see when you look at the metal that's wrapped around it, you will see there is a name, and then essentially the date they were killed on it.
So this would have been a prize for killing probably the head of that order.
No, it would have been a record of having killed it and ended the thing, right?
Yeah, that's what Tyler said. Yeah. Shaolin.
When is that date? Is that recent? Is that within the
Oh no,
lifetime
that's we're talking like 150 years ago.
Okay, so this is like maybe Bad Valley is a long tradition of this kind of thing, of containing these things, these unorthodox methods.
Yeah, you may be right. It does sort of fit with what they spoke of as their higher calling. Maybe that's a residual of what was once a bit more pointed towards heretic orders.
I think as you are there, Shaolin, as you're kind of getting maybe a little lightheaded, maybe sit down, I think you will find that there is the metal bands that are around that manual that Tyler has. You will see that there is a set of them. They've been cut open. They're laying on the ground there. With a date dating back from like 200 years ago, but the manual is nowhere.
Yeah, I want to look at these metal bands. See, what do I have left that I can use?
Earth?
I think it is. I think Earth makes sense. I'm being very cautious about this, having learned my lesson.
Okay.
And I failed miserably.
I think that you can tell that these were cut off recently, but beyond that, you can't tell. Like within the last year, these things were cut off from here. Janai, you do see, you see Shaolin.
Yeah, can I do a comfort and support?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I will use Earth because that is the training that I have. So on that. So 2d6, I'm adding 3. I got a 13 to heal, to help.
Shaolin, you may clear an element and clear that poison.
Oh, good.
Janai, what do we see you do to help out there?
I think she actually takes out some rock from one of her bags, and she goes, Blue Mountain chalk is not as good for this, but we do have plenty of Green Mountain chalk around, and it absorbs poison. It's a purifier. That is what's so important about Green Mountain. And she will put like a thin piece of it against your hand, and it will turn red with your blood, but then like that kind of like flows out, and then you see something else like that changes the color of it. That's not your blood. And she goes, that's it.
And you may also, Xiaolin, mark a bond with Janai.
Oh, good. Cool. I was also out of bonds, so.
Sangda, you talked to the Moists before, and you've seen the kind of technicians. We talked about the things and stuff. That stuff is very much, gadgets and tools and things like that. There's a certain level of Moist stuff that has kind of
Yeah, I have
gone
that
out.
move that I've based off of my sort of toying with
Yeah.
those ideas.
This stuff is much more dangerous. This stuff is much more like big scale murder machines, battle things, tomb traps, all of that kind of stuff. All of the kinds of secrets that are the reason the Moists were put down, and also you can see notes on imperial tombs and things, and that you shouldn't know.
Oh, that's a lot of fire. Wow, I didn't even think there were that many nails.
Are you kind of just absorbed in reading, or what else do we see there with you?
No, I think he is completely absorbed in these. He can understand about half of some of the more technical drawings and aspects, and he's obviously like taking in the purpose of some of them, but not actually processing it. Like,
Okay.
this is all just very going in the filing cabinet of short-term memory, and we'll process it and add context to it when we write it down in a few minutes. But right now it's just, oh, that's interesting. Wow, that could kill so many people.
Uh, so what do you want to do with this room? Are you going to leave and relock it? Are you going to open these cabinets? What else? What are you going to do?
And I think she turns and I go, I think that this is the duty of Black Valley, is to hide and hold these things back. This recent break-in and everything, we know that that evil monk came through. Could there be associates of his or of the people he was working with, Indigo Judgment or something, who found out about this and they've come through to find this?
Very possible.
The jailbreak that happened a few months ago seems just, could it be one of the older Tantais, the one that got whisked away at some point that came back? I don't know, but I just feel like it's not Bad Valley precisely. And she goes, and I don't know a safe place for these things.
Yeah, I don't know a safer place for them either, and they were put away for a good reason. As much as my curiosity does wish to look in to see more of it.
First orchid.
Is that orchid?
No, I think we have to take everything out of her fingers and out of Song Das and put them back and
Yeah,
spin the wheels.
No, I was
lift.
actually
Do a
reading that
pat
one.
down.
Nope,
Yeah.
Yep, I was reading.
You will pull several Maoist texts off of her and Song Da.
Yes.
I would like to go up to the seated mummy figure just to see if there is. I'm not going to disturb it.
Uh-huh.
But I would like to see, is there anything like, is there something there open, or was something left that, if someone has come in here recently, is there something up near it that they did?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, it looks like he was holding something that's missing.
And I will turn back. Whatever this perhaps last, as it was said, of the Moas, the trickster, had one last trick. That has been taken, I believe.
Oh.
That is very dangerous, I'm sure.
Well, I do have a specific question about the text.
Sure.
So it seems like the ones I've been looking through, as they get into their deeper theory, it gets into these larger, grander, more explosive, more unhinged sort of projects or experiments.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff that like originally caught Songda's eye about the Moas stuff was like that. Wasn't there? There was like a prosthetic arm, and there were a couple of
Yeah.
like. Are
Buried
there any
down
of them?
at the bottom, you will find like there is a medicinal book on how to make replacement joints and prosthetics and things like that, and how to surgically implant those to replace people's lost limbs and things. That
Yeah, I think he's questionable about whether like experimenting with strange prosthetics and implanted limbs is exactly what he wants to do. But that sort of like magical intricacy is what. Can I try and swipe that book?
I think that is fair. Is everybody okay with a song taking that one book?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, you'll be able to pocket that up your sleeve, Song.
Cool.
And I think we cut to all of you coming back out and Shaolin very gingerly resetting the door. And it'll, the light will come back, close. You can see that figure vanishing as that light goes down, and then those wings go back into place. Let's take our break. Take till the hour, I think, is probably a good idea. So I think we cut to twilight upstairs. You come back through the same passageway through the throne that you did before, and you will certainly find that Wasp is there as well.
Before we get out, can
Yes.
I real quick ask, kind of, are we in agreement? This information should not spread beyond us, correct? Eh,
Yeah, yes, clearly they
Not even to
clearly no
Wasp.
one was expected to find the body yet.
I would suggest that we at least wait until we've finished the mystery, discovered who and what has caused this death. Uh, we cannot rule Wasp out completely, though I sincerely doubt that they were the ones who did it. And even then, we should discuss. This knowledge is very dangerous. Yeah. All right. So until such time as we have reached an agreement, let us keep this to ourselves.
So there is that bit where you come back up, and Wasp will say, "Did you find anything?"
Found another. Did we bring the body back up, or did we leave it sitting on a table?
I assume you left it there rather than carrying it back up, but I
Yeah,
don't
it would
know.
make sense to leave it there. If only because if we don't figure it out before then, eventually someone is going to discover it.
Well,
Probably.
and one of the things is we don't want them to know how much we know at this point.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
So I think the thing that we say to Wasp is make sure that you don't tell anyone that we've gone down there.
All right.
There were signs of more activity recently. And she sort of stops and says, "You just change the direction of our investigation."
What does that mean?
The tunnels come out in many places, but they are full of traps. It's very dangerous.
And it's become somewhat more complicated due to all of these stacking factors.
All right.
We still are very confident, however, we will uncover the truth of this.
Okay.
And she stops and she goes, "And you will be the first one to know the full story."
All right. Well, thank you. I've covered for you. So there have been some people that have asked, like, where are the detectives today? Did you have them killed? That kind of thing.
I appreciate that you did not have us killed.
Yeah, there's some people who were disappointed, but generally,
I do have a
Remind-
question for you.
Go ahead.
Did you remember your parent having a leg injury?
no, not that I recall.
All right, it's just something I suddenly remembered. That's all.
And remind me, Lowell, did we talk with Wasp or hear anything about that dark priest? Didn't early on there was something?
So I'll
Talk
tell you,
about-
let me give the context for that. You know that the Dark Priest came through here a while back, and he got someone to give him the secrets of the Jun family.
Right. And we discovered that with
And-
the
and-
Dowager
and-
Empress.
Yeah,
mission.
and he, fled away, and Songbird was kind of blamed because of his earlier failings and sent out after it. You know that the suspicion that you have is that Storm Crane blames herself for it, but I believe also you had the indication that she's not the one who did it.
Mhm. And that Tantai thought that it was the priest of laughter and flame. Yeah.
Yes.
But we haven't spoken with Wasp about it at all. But we know Wasp knows that they came here, right?
Yes, you haven't talked Wasp has alluded to it when they talked about the whole problem with the Jun family and stuff.
Could you tell me? We discussed that the June family, some of their secrets had leaked out. A dark priest had discovered them. Do you remember when that person came?
Months ago, there was a priest who came through and stayed for some time and became friendly with a number of people here. I did not care for him. He was very charismatic. He moved on. He had apparently a Tasney Danger City there. And it was sometime after that it was revealed that some of the manuals had been stolen. Some people suspected the priest, some people suspected other people. It was only Songbird June's report that kind of confirmed later on that it was been him.
Let's see. Thank you.
So let me do a once around here in the evening. Thank you, Stonegate. Thank you. After this, after you've cleaned and refreshed yourself, Janai, what is it that you want to do? Who do you want to talk to? You are muted.
Also torn.
Hmm.
So I can't say that I said anything more interesting than, "Oh man." So there you go. Let's see here. I mean, I really need to go talk to undaunted.
Okay. We'll head out and you will find them. They are there are a couple of taverns here. And they are like the closest one to here. You'll find them there, drinking by themselves, and they will greet you warmly and loudly when you show up. Ah, Sanjana, you are just in time. I was about to have a drink. I hadn't had one for a while.
Oh, well, then we better remedy that as soon as possible.
You understand the ways of the world.
I do.
And she will pour you wine.
And how have a decent amount of privacy here?
Yeah.
Okay.
In that upstairs of a tavern, everybody's shouting and talking downstairs.
Exactly. And she goes, you have shown up at all the right places and all the right times.
Oh, I would
For me.
call the wrong places. People die when I'm there. You know, you all as well. If I mean, right now, if you were to arrive at a place,
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh no,
Well,
I don't want
and I
Bao Shi
just
here.
did,
Yeah.
exactly. So,
Gonna be a dead person soon. Bao Shi's here.
yep. Well, more dead people, I think.
More
is
dead
what-
people than usual.
Yeah, exactly. So, and she sort of stops and goes, so you're familiar with this place?
I have come and gone from Bad Valley over the years. Yes.
And did you know Wheelwright Tantai? Any of them?
What do you mean?
It just seems like there has to be more than one.
You and I both know what an effort it is for the commitment to that kind of thing.
Exactly. It's why I asked you. I thought you might be the one that would recognize that more than the others.
I will tell you a story about Wheelwright Tantai.
We'll take that story.
This happened about a year and a half ago. Actually, shortly before we met, as I was passing through here to go to the house of Master Sun, I spoke with Wheelwright, and they asked me if I knew the location of a legendary bandit, Lady Silkwind. And I thought this was somewhat odd. Bad Valley doesn't normally deal with bandits. Either killing them or like deliberately bringing them in.
Mhm.
And I found it unusual. And when I pressed on the reason why, because I can do that, you know, because people don't think much of me
You go
at
to a lot
times.
of trouble to make sure that they don't have to worry.
Oh, that implied some intentionality. I know you just know how it is.
Yeah.
You know, you are who you are. And the thing about Lady Silkwind is when I was out on the road then, I heard some stories about her and how she was legendary right now because she was leading a bandit group, but she had recently given birth. And she would lead her bandit raids with these babies, the triplets that she had strapped to her.
Oh,
Freakish and unorthodox, barbaric.
Dangerous for those triplets, that's for sure.
Yes. But Wheelwright seemed very interested in her.
I wonder if he wanted a set of triplets.
That is what I know. Now, what is it you're going to tell me that you haven't told me yet?
Hmm.
Are you going to tell me matters of heart or matters of practicality?
Oh. Yeah, I'm confused on matters of the heart, so I can only speak probably to matters of practice.
Oh,
I have so many decisions to make. I mean, that isn't a brag. It's that, well,
mhm.
I don't know. In theory, I'm a poet, right? I mean,
No, you are a poet. Yes.
I am a poet.
Yes.
Poet.
And
And that suggests a life of decorum, of, how do you say, of proper society. And then also raised by Blue Mountain Scholar, and that puts me right there on the boundary with the life of Wulin.
I think that you should drown your sorrows.
Really? I think you're right.
Absolutely. Another thing of wine, please.
So,
And another
on
gourd
my
will be
tab.
brought.
Yeah,
Well, of course.
of course. The least I could
Bausch,
do.
Bausch, who is it you would like to talk to? What would you like to do?
All right, I'm going to just quickly ask Solda if I may borrow some of his notes from when we dealt with the Dower Empress's that particular mystery. Just a couple of things from you.
All
I
right.
will quietly send a message to Songbird that
Okay.
he should come to his family's home. And I am, I'm going to, I suppose, trust going alone. There's part of me that feels like someone should go with me, but then just so that I may not get killed right then. But then at the same time, this is quiet family business. I don't know how many ears they'd appreciate being there to hear it.
So yeah, we'll call. He will come in disguise. We will arrive at that household. They do have some servants there, just a couple. But Nighthawk June will come out and greet you, Master Bao. How is it that the June family can be of assistance to you in your investigation?
Actually, Master June, I might be of assistance to you. May I have a moment of your and your family's time?
All right. I am admittedly curious, and you are here alone, but for your servant. All right. Let me summon the seniors. And we'll cut to a room, where he is seated there, then the high seat, and then there's the seats off to the side, and the kind of the chambers, the last of the sunlight coming in. And basically it's Stormcrane, Thornbird, Laughter, and Flame Priest, and maybe one or two others who will be uncredited at the end. But they've got fancy costumes. The designer has made them up, so
Well, designer's got a good billing on the credits.
Yes. Why have you called me here?
It has come to my attention. In fact, I was present when a certain poisonous technique was used upon a servant of the Empire at a reception for the Dowager Empress.
I see.
It, in fact, pointed to a member of your family.
Go on. That voice kind of does that rumble, like Lion King Simba kind of thing there. The scratch sort of, and I'm going to kill you if you fuck this up kind of thing.
Of course, you may have heard that my companions and I discovered that, in fact, your family had nothing to do with it. A corrupted priest using stolen techniques of some origin. I'll admit, where he could have gotten such a thing has scratched the back of my brain.
And you'll see Crystal, Storm Crane is kind of looking down at the floor, wringing her hands at this point.
And when I arrived, I in fact heard that that same priest had visited Bad Valley. I've just not quite been able to get something out of my mind. I would like to use my eccentric.
Absolutely. Let's have you make that roll.
Yes. Okie dokie. I honestly think it's metal. I'm doing reflection,
Yeah.
calculation. This is more than a sudden thing. This is me thinking about it for some time. So rolling. That's a 7.
That is a 7. So
I'm going to tell my theory, and it is correct, but somebody's
yes.
gonna be pissed off.
So who do you want to have the bond with?
Ooh, do I get one even on the 7?
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
It's on a hit.
Since he's here and I'll probably see him more.
Right.
I think I'm gonna go with Songbird.
And who of, besides Laughter and Flame Priest, who of the other 3 here don't seem pleased by this revelation?
I think it's the father. It's Nighthawk. I think that me upending what had been settled in his mind, coming in with this revelation, he's not really going to appreciate it. But I think he's stuck with everyone hearing.
I think there is that moment, when you give the accusation and he stands up, but like a flash, the 2 sisters and Songbird are up and over, and I think Songbird's disguise is off at that point.
Because my theory is that Storm Crane, the priest came and was given hospitality in the house. Storm Crane, at some point, this priest will complain of something in his room one evening, and she will, in a gesture of hospitality, have allowed him to sleep in Songbird's quarters. Hence her guilt. But then I'll give a bit of a Columbo, well, wait one moment. And then lay out how, was it Laughter and Flame Priest had in fact been the one who had let this priest know, because he had enjoyed the attention. This priest, we hear of his charisma, had wormed into him enough. He had dropped secrets that Jude uses these sorts of poisons, and had been the one who had given all of the information that our dark priest then goes, digs through June's quarters, and discovers these secrets. So an indiscretion by the daughter, but perhaps an innocent one. However, it is Flame Priest who, in fact, told that they have these secrets in the first place to set him on the track of discovering them.
Nighthawk doesn't seem entirely pleased, but he does kind of settle, and you see him nod and listens, and he has Laughter and Flame Priest brought and kind of, put on his knees in front of him. And there's a silence there. And he will look up at you and Bao-Shi and say, "You are excused."
Of course.
And I think as you kind of start to turn, you will see rats starting to come into the room.
I will take just one moment to lightly run my hand across Songbird's hand as I leave.
And then there'll be
That's
that
family business. That's not for me to worry
slamming
about.
shut of the doors. Chow Lin, who is it you want to talk to? What is it that you want to do?
I think I should probably go talk to the doctor.
Okay.
And I have a perfectly good excuse because I have this,
Yes, you do.
Poisoned cut on my hand. That is, most of the poison's out, but I can pretend that I don't know that.
Yeah, so you will go there. He is seated. You will see that Zong Tai and Pro-Mist are there. Pro-Mist may be kind of watching you, trying to figure out what you're about. But Runyan will greet you and will say, "What? Show me the wound."
Yeah, that I do.
Oh, you've had some very good treatment to this. May I ask who assisted you?
Last Sang Janai, she used what she had a piece of chalk in her pocket that
Yes, the mountain chalk. Yes, yes. Excellent. You're very lucky. Uh,
I am. I have very talented friends.
Let me apply some other things here to make sure that there's no infection and to make sure that this looks like a nerve poison. I wouldn't want you to lose the use of your hand.
No, I need my hands.
And he will sit down. He'll put together some poultices and things, and he will say, and I see you're still in the valley.
Yes, so far. I think our this mystery only gets more complicated. I don't think we're anywhere near solving it. Everyone in this valley has secrets. And I don't know which are related and which are not.
That is I grew up here, and even I don't know or truly understand everyone. Everyone has disguises.
Yes. What made you come back?
I did not
You
willingly come
escaped
back.
and
My parents sent a number of students from the clan to track me down, and they brought me back. They threatened the life of my ward, and he'll gesture at Pearl Mist. And while I was willing to take whatever harm they would impose on me to avoid coming back here, I could not let an innocent suffer.
yes, that's certainly understandable. They why did they need you back here? So urgently. They seem to be doing fine.
The previous physician, actually the one who had trained me for my early days, had been killed.
That seems like a very bad decision someone made. You don't want to kill the only physician in this place.
Wheelwright was legendary for fickle decisions, but never without a backup plan. I suspect that knowing that I was out there and could perhaps be brought in, he was willing to.
Oh,
The old man had a mouth on it.
I see. Well, in that case, I will not pressure you to reveal anyone's secrets. I can see that
I
you're
have,
caught in a difficult position.
I am here. There are people to be healed. I am a doctor. Someday I will make my escape. I'm certain of that. Is there something you wish to know? Is there a question that you have? You're here, you're a friend, and you've been put in an awkward position. I would help you out.
Um, when you get some free time, um, and I tell him like where we're staying, like, come and see us.
All right. All right. You wish this to be
I
discreet?
have an idea. I think you may wish it to be discreet.
All right. All right. And he will finish treating your wound. Well, that should be fine. Take care of it tomorrow. Do your standard exercises, and that should allow the flow of blood to continue.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Song Da. Who is it that you want to talk to? What is it that you want to do?
I actually want to go back down through the tunnels and come out through that entrance in the back of Neon's area and do some more poking around back there.
Okay. Let's have you make an overcome roll to not be noticed.
I do have this shiny new Earth stat. Caution focus.
Yeah.
Keep hearing everybody fussing at me all day long in the back of my head. Stop being seen by everybody. Stop popping up every 5 seconds to make sure that you're not being followed. Stop asking people if they're following you. That's an 11.
Oh yeah, you are absolutely silent. Move through there with caution. Probably go to one of the other entryways, not through the throne room,
Yeah.
and come out through here. It is disconcerting going through those tunnels by yourself with a torch and all of these traps. And that 11 is less about being quiet and more about what might happen to you wandering by yourself in that network down below.
It seemed a lot smaller when there were other voices all around me. It was very manageable. Instead, there's like dark that goes off a very long way. Everything echoes oddly.
But you will find yourself in this courtyard storeroom. There's a garden in the center. There is his private quarters, the private quarters of the young man and the ward. There's his big medical office. There's an infirmary for patients, and there is a cold room.
Cold room sounds fascinating in and of itself. Uh, yeah, I want to check there, and then like if nothing turns up, I can go look for more tantais buried in the garden.
Okay. You will go into that room, open it up. There's that sort of cold mist that comes out of there as you come in. You will see that there are 3 stone slabs in here, and 2 of them have bodies on them that are covered with sheets.
And I just want to, 100%
Yeah.
double check. That is a skeleton and Chaoji, right?
No. It
Uh-huh.
is it is in fact uh definitely Chao Wuji on one, but on the other one looks like just this either laborer or worker or something like that.
Oh.
Who is, as I'll give you, he is dead.
Yes, well, that's good. I was hoping. It's a very grim medical therapy. Um, yeah, I'm gonna poke around this guy and what's up with how did he and where did he who all these sorts of questions.
Why don't you make a study roll for me?
Yes. Characters, things, and stuff. Again, it's too cold for fire. Um, but we can go with water and awareness. Wisdom. Cold wisdom.
Look at that.
Wow. Okay, that's another 11.
So you have 2 hold.
I'm going to start with my smiling, proud wanderer. How did he die?
You will kind of look around, and you followed and you know the basic methods of forensic investigation, things like that. There are tools there that you will use and so on. And I think that you will, take a piece of a silver needle and you kind of check the blood. We see you check things, and there's that bit where you kind of check around the inside of the nostrils, and you'll get kind of a discoloration that appears on the needle, and looks like he died from some kind of inhaled smoke. And it looks very much like the smoke thing that you found down below.
Huh. I would like a clue.
Like a clue. You will look at the body and check the nails and things like that. And someone has gone to some effort to clean it away. But he has just the barest signs of the marks that you have seen on the Chow family who practice that black magic style
Mm,
that involves the use of substances and things like that.
mm-hmm.
So this is an operative for the Chow clan,
Mm.
who has clearly been, you know, disguised to not look like that. And it suggests to you that, like, this may be somebody that the Chow clan, that people in Vab Valley didn't even know, kind of thing. Because he definitely looks like he's better fed and better clothed and things like that. Uh, Maybe came back to report in and then got dead.
Just to clarify what you said, The Chow would know who he is, but the rest of Bad Valley would not. Is that what you're saying?
Someone in the Chow, at least, if not all the Chow, would know who he is.
The rest of Bad Valley would not associate him
Right.
with Chow.
Yeah. Does that feel like a fair clue for you? I'm going to make you sneeze. Ooh, I'll use my GM powers to make you sneeze. I'm going to have to say something.
Rude. Yes, I like that. The especially the died from the smoke and someone cleaned up his body after death. Like, not just like, not someone washed him, but someone tried to clean evidence from his body after death. There we go.
So put that in. Is that, well, we got that. Yep.
Yes, then I'm going to fold that needle with the tarnish on it up in a page of my notebook, like tear the bottom half of the page and fold it up in there. And I think use the corner of another page to scrape what little residues and things I can from left under his fingernails and his fingertips. And then on a third page, I'm going to draw that design that is on his arm before I try to get out of here.
Just to clarify, or not like a tattoo, but more like the marks that show that somebody has used their substances. Like that's how you've been able to kind of tell tales.
Oh, yeah. I see. Gotcha. Then a little picture of his face.
Absolutely. So I put that in as body of Chow agent killed by gas. Does that feel? Oh, somebody else did it even better than me. Somebody did it really awesome. Mine was weak sauce compared to that. So shall we bring the group back together to talk and then have the doctor come on scene?
Sure.
So imagine that you're back at the chambers that you were staying there at Wasp's Manor, and passing your information to one another. Bauchi, how do you describe what went on?
I took a moment away from our mystery. Honestly, it helped me clear my mind to put it to other use, and I would admit it was a bit personal. I rooted out who had stolen the secrets of the Yule, and have cleared Songbird's name. As it turns out, Laughing and Flame Priest had been charmed by that dark priest and eventually had given out their secrets, perhaps to impress him. The priest took advantage of this and the hospitality of Stormcrane, be allowed into Jude's quarters, and knowing what to look for, had found the means to duplicate some of his work. The family has, at least, it certainly seems the family has decided to handle it as an internal matter. I have a feeling we will not be seeing the priest again. At least not whole.
Oh.
Well, but I believe Songbird's name has been cleared amongst his family, and he won't be under threat of being murdered by them.
And his sister's name?
Pardon me?
And his sister was cleared as well?
It did not seem as though her infraction received the same degree of blame as the priest. It was the secrets in the end. She was unaware that he knew what to be looking for. And one can, well, hospitality is as one must. Well, I wanted to inform you, I'm not entirely sure that that Master June himself was delighted by my revelation. He seemed rather, well, less than gratuitous about my helping the family as I did.
Hmm.
But we have a lot on our plate here.
I found a fourth body. Or
Another
I
wheel,
guess
right?
fifth body. No, at least I don't think so. It certainly didn't look well. I mean, it sort of looked. Maybe if you were like squinting at night from far off, it's no.
To the
As you
point, what
dated
did
up to us. Oh, sorry.
Was an operative, a secret operative.
Those are the best kind.
And I'll go through my laying out my story in my best imitation of Bao Shi going through a case, along with my 3 little pieces of evidence, one page after another.
Well, to take us to the meta for a moment,
Yes,
we're at a +2.
at a
I
plus
believe.
2. Yeah.
Do we feel like we're going with our +2, or do we want to investigate further?
it's kind of late.
Yeah.
I would rather do a little more investigation, I think, and then solve, if you don't mind. There's
Okay.
still
No
like
problem.
some weird little bits that I would love to kind of, I don't know, this is a fascinating place. So I
Nibble
think
at the little edges.
I'm fine with doing a little more investigation. I'm existentially terrified of finding another wheelwright Ted tie.
well, we know he's
Is that
interested in
is that a
triplets.
wish? No.
So- I'm just saying, we know that he was interested in triplets, so
Yeah.
that might be because that was his situation.
Let's
And-
let's have the doctor come on scene. Let's
Okay.
do that conversation, and then we'll wrap there.
Okay.
And we'll start next time with some once arounds and possibly further
And why
investigations.
is he coming to us?
Chow Lin has asked him to speak with you privately.
Yeah, well,
Oh.
I know that he wants out of here. And I know that we have people with like disguise skills. So this
Who?
is like 1/4 of a plan. I only have about 1/4 of a plan.
So he will arrive and he will greet you. And he said, I tried to sneak out as best I could. I suspect Pearl saw me go, but
and, um, and I like, introduce him around because he has not met who is our other person who's hanging out with
Duan Su.
Duan
on
Su, that's
Zoom.
it, yes,
Nor has he
Duan Su.
met 11th Hound. So there you
Right,
go.
yeah, there's a whole bunch of people.
Who's like completely confused about what's going
Or
on.
Song Da, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yes, we have our friend Song Da.
He doesn't ask questions. He goes,
Yeah.
That's
had-
suspicious.
you had questions for me?
Uh, the man that you're caring for, I'd like to know more about him. How how injured is he? How
He is. His death is upon him, but we have made it so it is slowed.
so he wouldn't be capable of any physical, he wouldn't be capable of fighting, for example.
Oh, 100% he would be.
He would. Okay.
He is kept in that cauldron to warm up his setters and to aid the spread of the medicine. He has been struck by a technique that will eventually freeze his heart. But he stays in there so that he can go and walk around and do things and be active for maybe 2 hours each day. He spends some of the time practicing. He spends some of the time trying to pass on information and stories to Zong. He knows that eventually he will pass, but he wants to see Zong become an adult and not a teen who thinks they're an adult. And I think he wants to get Zong out of here at some way, somehow.
That's certainly understandable. It seems like he himself doesn't have a very good life here, although you clearly have extended it.
We have. He has given up a lot. He gave up many of his techniques over the years to Wheelwright. And he has had a life that is a few hours each day. He was a great hero before he came here. I know that. And I believe that Zong is the child of a friend who Ji Minlang was not able to save. I have the impression that he was too late and wasn't able to prevent his friend and his friend's bride from being killed.
That's it's a very sad story. Does he ever leave and you don't know, not tell anyone where he goes?
His 2 hours are to himself. I try not to spy on him. He's there. I'm there quite, he's there for 21, 22 hours a day. In each other's company. He is not a great conversationalist.
I got that impression, yes.
But his technique is fearsome.
What
The
is
things
his
that-
technique?
Okay.
Sorry,
No,
she
go-
does kind of break in, like, and then she goes, I'm sorry.
No, that's
Techniques are very important here. I
Where I was going.
understand that.
Hmm.
Is it, yeah.
He was a hero of the Son of Wreaths faction. I believe you know Gyo Botong from the tournament. I've heard the story from Songbird. He arrived and he had the mask and he had the chi infection.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I in fact had treated him on the road once or twice, and I found out that Ji Minglang is sort of that faction, of that group.
So he's all tangled up in that set of tragedies. Oof.
Do you suspect him?
We would have liked to be able to have crossed his name off the list.
I understand that.
It does seem that he has at least as much against Wheelwright Tantai as anyone else here.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you on that. Oh, I did take the liberty of bringing that substance that I promised all of you.
Oh, yes, much appreciated.
And he will pull out 4 small pots. Or sorry, 5 because of your assistant Baushi, and say, drink this, and this should clear out the poison from your system. So if you want to leave the valley, you'll be able to do that without having to worry about getting an antidote.
Very kind.
On that subject, when we do leave, between us all, we have some skill with disguises. There may be ways for us to smuggle you out of here if you would like to come with us.
That is a tempting offer, but I fear what would become of Pearl. She is used as a marker against me, and I have some affection for Zong. And though I do not know if I am capable of healing him, Jin Minglong is a patient. And if I leave, then I know he will die.
Do you think perhaps with what's clearly going to be a new administration, that perhaps WASP will look more favorably upon at least you and the children having an opportunity to leave?
And he'll stop and he will look at you and he will say, you seem to be under the impression that when all is said and done, WASP will be in charge.
I admit it is not a completely certain assumption.
WASP is filial and devoted and clever. They don't like Pearl, I know that. They are fond of Zong. They are as good a person as you will find here in Bad Valley. But they are not a person who can lead Bad Valley.
Who do you think will?
I don't know. But I know that I will be required when the bloodshed starts. Unless something can be found to moderate or convince or pressure these heads. I mean, the Shao family, at least, is not going to press for leadership. Well, and he paused and he goes, she might.
She might.
But it would be a dangerous game. I don't know if WASP is clever enough to throw each of them against each other.
But you think that should this occur, that your services would not be something that, even in the chaos, you would have opportunity to flee?
There would be people dying here, and I could not leave that in good conscience.
I see. Admirable, Doctor. Admirable.
I am a physician.
And I'll kind of back up. I'm going to try and catch your eyes, and as we've talked about, we have almost an eyebrow language to ourselves, certainly in certain ways. And I cock my eyebrow to you as I turn. Do you think he's involved? Because I might believe he's involved.
And that thing that you swear it's almost like Blue Mountain Scholars eyes, those things where she does that thing that he does when he's like, there are too many variables. That kind of like where he casts his eye up, he does the calculation, and he kind of does the small shake. Like, not yet. Does that make any sense?
Yes, I But I would like to, Lowell,
Mhm.
do my I've interacted and we've certainly heard from him.
Sure,
My tracing shadows.
absolutely.
All right. This is probably going to be water. This is awareness and working with him. Yeah, let's see better. I think it's water.
Okay.
All right. That's an 8.
That is an 8. So what does that say under your?
On a hit, the GM will reveal an entanglement and a secret they would prefer remain hidden. Take +1 forward on hearts and minds. On a 7 to 9, though, my target is aware that I have scrutinized my workings, that I have scrutinized them. So
I think there is that bit, like you've been pressing the conversation, and I think that there is a bit where he kind of like stops and says, well, I should, and looks very pointedly at you, Baoshi, I should return to my patients.
yes, your dedication is admirable, Doctor.
I think that you will realize that he is aware that Pearl Mist is a plant and an agent of Bad Valley who was sent to ingratiate herself with him and become her ward to be a token to be used against him at a later date. But he has not admitted that, and he has not said anything to anyone.
That she was sent by who? By someone here in Bad
Someone here
Valley.
in Bad Valley, maybe by Wheelwright, maybe by his parents, but like she is not the innocent that she pretends to be.
Gotcha. Okay. Excellent. And his parents are the Rurs, right? Is
Yep.
that the
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I think I want to stop there with the doctor
That's
conversation.
good stuff, though.
Lots of
And I just wanted to put the word out there again. Triplets. Okay. So we've only got 2 bodies. Until I see the 3, there's still a Tota.
Let's do a quick stars and wishes. Next time we'll be wrapping up this mystery, I believe. We'll definitely be doing that. And at that point, we should probably also talk about next game at that point. And make the decision on that. So let's stars and wishes, Janai.
This was super fun. This mystery is a hard one to solve in a way that ties up the bows. I think it is. And we have so many good pieces. I mean, it's a mystery, like very lots to put. I don't know. This one's like the one that I think about the most that of all of them. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And the situation here is like such an awesome one that they're like the people that kind of keep the horrible stuff mostly corked, but also use it in order to keep things, I don't know. It's not like they're good guys,
Right.
but of the kind of bad guys, it's so great. It's just a good story. So I'm really enjoying that. I love all my fellow players. You were all awesome and super smart and found cool things tonight. And it was fun to watch. And it just made the picture more rich and more complicated. Just good stuff. Just awesome game.
Any wishes?
I don't know. I'm going to be thinking about it for, all week until we play next time. So let's see here. I just hope that like when we come in, we find some things that kind of, help us go, okay, here's a route that we can start with solving that mystery. When we work through it, well, it'll feel right in that moment.
Excellent. Baoshi.
This is phenomenal. This one was nice. It showed off the best of us when we're as a group. Everybody did neat things and we saw their character. we all were cool. We had good rolls tonight, so that helped. But we all had really neat ideas. I loved seeing Salta go and figure out how to stop the trap for us. The detail of the constellations, I believe, was you, Sherry, and
We
it
also,
really worked around how see the machinations in all that room. I thought that was really neat. um I enjoyed at first I enjoyed Ethan, you in the trap room. Of course, you're going to be the one that gets hurt, but you also were the one who discovered a starting off solution in a neat way that was cool, working with the gears. um but that I really enjoyed your leading talking with the doctor here in this last scene, because it was very much you and a friend, and because we all kind of held back a bit and let that go, and it was really neat to see the character interacting with someone they care about, and just it was a really pretty interesting and neat scene. Well played. But I had a blast. I thought that it was, I mean, as far as an episode, it had really cool. Oh, we came back from the cliffhanger of found body. We had some cool investigative bit. Then we have a very exciting trap and injuries and a bloody room, and then we get a cool reveal of a treasure chamber that isn't a treasure chamber. We can't take cool things from it. Um, and I liked getting Songbirds name clear.
That was great.
I was glad that happened. So really cool. Very good session. Wishes. I would love. I know we're pushing to the end, but I would love, before we go into the rounds of us looking for clues, I'd love an opportunity for some comfort and support sort of talking.
Oh, okay.
Do us and us, so we could, none of us have any bonds left, I don't think, or
Right.
very few bonds left. And I wouldn't mind those going into that final clue run.
Yeah, let's definitely start out with sort of after the doctor leaves, we kind of play out like your conversations and so on, to kind of that help us reframe and do that comfort and support. Great idea. Chow Lin?
Yeah, I second everything. This session had such a huge variety of things going on. uh I really, there is so many interesting like angles to this. I also like do not see how to put them all together, but they're all very interesting. And like, this is a valley full of people with secrets. They might not all be related. um and yeah, I got to see everybody doing their thing. I really liked the forbidden secrets and Songda, getting one volume out of there. That was very cool. Yeah, and like, more secret bodies. Awesome.
Awesome. Anything wishes wise?
Hmm. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we're going to do everything that I must.
Fair. Song Da.
Again, I agree with everyone. I liked this. I've liked this whole mystery. It's continuing to be interesting and strange and confounding in great ways. Lol, that moment of just saying there are two bodies under sheets. I was just like, no, what is happening? No more, please. We walk into that sealed vault. There's another body in there. Like I am loving the confusion and madness of it. And Tyler, I really liked your family psychodrama crime family sort of revelation scene there with the Junes. It's always interesting to see you do those side stories, but I think this is probably like the most invested personally you've been in one of these side mysteries. So it's interesting to see how you navigated it, and that moment when you just decided to step backwards out of the room.
Well,
I have done my part, and other people are going to do theirs now without me. Wishes. I don't know. I don't have any specific wishes.
Okay.
Like I think we're like Ethan said. I think we're gonna come in on all the things I would want to come in on.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you all so much. I am going to stop the recording.